and welcome to this edition of News Leader on 6. Today is Tuesday, July 28th, 2020. I'm Andrew Todd. In tonight's news, Alzheimer's Tennessee held its Purple Olympics luncheon. South Jackson Civic Center's Ice Cream Social is this week, and a Tullahoma native has a book of poetry published. We'll have all these stories and more on tonight's News Leader on 6.
Tullahoma needs leadership. Tullahoma needs someone who can make good decisions in bad times. Tullahoma needs someone who is familiar with the area and knows how to bring people together. Tullahoma needs someone who's not tied to any specialty group, who doesn't owe someone a favor, that's going to make decisions for the entire city as a whole. We want to make sure that we stay focused on health. We want to make sure we stay focused on wealth, and we don't stay focused on education. Those are the three things that if we as a city invest in our people, we will see the return, and our city will continue to grow, and our city will continue to prosper. So that's why I'm running for mayor, and I'm ready to begin working for you day one, and I'm asking for your vote.
You made the time and the sacrifice to broaden their horizons, to see their smiles, but mostly to make lifelong memories. We think it's time to do it again, just the two of you. Don't let illness or injury slow you down. The rehab team at Life Care Center of Tullahoma is ready to help you live well.
It's time for every family and business in Tullahoma to go green and recycle. Tullahoma Public Works makes it simple and easy to recycle. Just place your recyclable materials, paper, plastic, aluminum, and cardboard beside your garbage container on the same day your garbage is picked up. Your recycled materials don't have to be in a fancy container. Recycling is not only the right thing to do, it makes sense. Recycling pays. Paying to bury our garbage costs each of us. Please do your part. Let's go green, Tullahoma, and recycle.
Welcome back. On Thursday, Alzheimer's Tennessee held their Purple Olympics Awards luncheon at the church at 117 in Manchester. The luncheon celebrates all of the local people who are working to help Alzheimer's in memory. Fran Gray was the master of ceremonies.
This is the party to celebrate the second annual Purple Olympics being held at the church at 117 in Manchester, Tennessee.
I do carry a torch for you in my heart. Today the torch is a little bit positional, and we felt it was safe to leave it right where it is. You know, it's symbolic of our special times together, and it's very special to be with you all today. Thank you so much for coming out on a very warm Thursday, and we are honored that you're with us.
All right, here's the lunch area right here, and that is being provided today by the Mercantile Cafe in Manchester, Tennessee. That's Renee Holt and her sisters and cousins and everything else, and the food is always good when you go to the Mercantile, so give them a try. And also the Sweet Simplicity Bakery. They have some of the sweetest, finest things in the world. There's Eugene London.
Captain John.
Captain, you running for mayor?
Oh yeah, the people are running me. They're doing a wonderful job as well.
Good man.
Wow, it's been a different kind of year, hasn't it? I want to thank, you've heard me say this before, most of you, but I'm going to say it again. I'm so thankful for the vision that Janice Wade Whitehead, our president CEO, had. We were talking about the second Purple Olympics, and she said, why don't we do it a little bit earlier this year? I said, okay. And thankfully, she had the vision of March 7th. And I will tell you that that was just one of the best decisions we've made, because unfortunately, all of our other offices have not been able to have the events that they normally have. They have continued on, and they have done well, but it's just not the same, is it? Nothing's the same anymore. And I'm so thankful that we did start earlier, and we just made it under the COVID wire. So again, Janice, I'll always be grateful for that wisdom you imparted to us. And we have a new meeting space, y'all. I think you know that we have moved a whole block north. From 207 North Jackson to 309 North Jackson. We are in the Shahan building where the lights are on, there's water, there's air conditioning, and it's just so comfy. And if you tend to be cool, you wear a sweater or a coat. And we have some new socks you can buy to keep your feet warm while you're in the office. Together, we have worked really hard, and again, under challenging times. But as of today, we have achieved our goal of $30,000. I've talked with Janice about this next year, and I think we will stay at that goal. It's perfectly all right if we go over that goal of $30,000. And thankfully, today we've had a gift that has planted a seed for next year. So I'm just so grateful, and we are already starting toward the 3rd Purple Olympics. We are so appreciative of our sponsors, our workers, anyone who is sharing the story, the message, the mission of Alzheimer's Tennessee. We were working tirelessly to get some legislation passed, the Silver Alert, when things shut down. And so hopefully Rush is going to be back in Nashville, and he and our other representatives will see that we need to have Silver Alert in place so we can have a consistent protocol across the state of Tennessee when older loved ones wander or get lost. So thank you already. I would like to remind us, if we might, about our stars. I just love these stars. And you all may recall what they each mean, but I think it's just so important. So you should have a fan, a star at your place. When I read about yours, would you lift it, please? White is for someone living with Alzheimer's and any related dementia. They are an inspiration to all of us. Orange is for those supporting or caring for someone living with the disease. They are the guiding lights for our loved ones. Purple is for everyone who supports the cause and the vision to make Alzheimer's a memory. Say that. Make Alzheimer's a memory. And our plus silver star represents those who raise or donate $500 or more. You are the silver star of Purple Olympics. So thank you everyone, and we will be in touch. You are wonderful, and we thank God for you every day and for the difference you're making in this world. Thank you so much.
And we'll be right back with more news after these messages.
Hello, I'm Ray Noyes. This is a critical time in Tullahoma. On August the 6th, voters will have an opportunity to elect a new mayor, one who can provide proven, experienced leadership, one who knows how to get things done and keep Tullahoma moving. I recognize the value of Tullahoma's excellent school system. Our system is recognized as one of the best in the state, and I'll ensure that our schools continue at that level. I will not vote to raise property taxes in order to have a balanced budget until all other options have been exhausted. I'll work closely with our city staff to ensure that my fiscally conservative values are incorporated. Now, I've served on all city boards involved in economic development. I see that as a way that we can broaden our tax base and avoid a property tax rate increase. Some developers have had issues with our planning and codes department. I'll commit to these improvements. There'll be consistency in the instructions from planning and codes without changes from day to day. And there'll be predictable timelines for providing delivery dates for plan reviews, permits, and inspections. Timelines that will be met reliably. Now, while we can't do much about the traffic on 41A and 55, we can improve our local streets and sidewalks. And this I commit to do. So I ask for your vote for proven, experienced leadership.
When your family suffers the loss of a loved one, the caring and compassionate staff at Tullahoma Funeral Home and Coffee County Funeral Chapel are standing by to assist you in every way possible. We are proud to support local industry and offer only Batesville caskets. Many funeral homes don't own or operate a crematory. We utilize the only crematory in Coffee County. Your loved one never leaves Coffee County. We can accommodate any need and any budget. Consider our complete pre-need service to remove this burden from your family during their time of grief. Lock in today's low costs and protect from inflation. Tullahoma Funeral Home and Coffee County Funeral Chapel. Our family caring for your family.
Welcome back. Last week, Tennessee Governor Bill Lee spoke to Tennesseans about the evolving approach to fighting COVID-19 and announced a new media campaign to encourage citizens to wear face coverings.
As this COVID-19 pandemic evolves, we are continuously evolving in our approach to it and in our messaging as well. We want to make sure that we are addressing the health crisis, the economic crisis, that we are appropriately addressing things like getting back to school safely. And to do so, we want to make sure that during this evolution of the pandemic that we continue to remind Tennesseans and to send messages that are important for all Tennesseans. We began early in this pandemic by reminding people to do your part and stay apart through a public service announcement campaign. We followed that up and added to that message when we recognized that Tennesseans needed to be tested in a greater degree. We added to that with when in doubt, get a test. And so today we launch a new public service announcement that focuses on one simple action that will help mitigate the spread, and that is wearing a mask. This new campaign will involve digital, television, print, and it is to remind Tennesseans that we're fighters and that we're in a fight with this COVID-19 pandemic. We're fighting to protect the health of our citizens. We're fighting to protect our economy. We're fighting to protect things that we enjoy in our way of life, things like football on a Saturday. And you'll see that in our public service announcements that will be forthcoming. In fact, the Vol Nation might recognize one of the folks in this campaign, a five-star recruit who made a wise choice to come to Tennessee, but he's also made a wise choice to engage with us. Trey Smith is a part of this campaign, and he'll be reminding us that he is fighting for football, as many of the other folks in this campaign are fighting for their small businesses and for the health of their neighbors. And we implore Tennesseans to join in the fight. And as the public service announcement says, face it, masks fight the spread of COVID-19. And we know that we can all do our individual part to help mitigate the spread of this virus.
Here is the public service announcement Governor Lee spoke about, titled Face It, Masks Fight COVID-19.
This is the face of a fighter.
I'm fighting to keep Tennesseans working.
I'm fighting for time with my friends.
I'm fighting for football on Saturday.
I'm fighting to see my students back in the classroom.
We're fighting for our small business.
I'm fighting to keep my family safe.
Whatever you're fighting for, it's time for all Tennesseans to fight back. Until there's a vaccine for COVID-19, this is the face of a fighter. Face it, masks fight COVID-19.
Governor Bill Lee has also announced a grants program for Tennessee nonprofits and remind folks that the state set aside $250 million to help Tennessee businesses and an additional $115 million grant program for local governments.
We, through the Financial Stimulus Accountability Group, which includes members of the legislature, the comptroller, the speaker, the lieutenant governor, that group has announced a $150 million grant fund that's now available to Tennessee nonprofits through the Tennessee Community Cares Program. The Department of Human Services will work with nonprofit partners to administer the grants, and we are prioritizing organizations that have been specifically engaged in the COVID-19 battle. These are organizations that fulfill critical needs like emergency food assistance, workforce training, support for vulnerable populations, care for the homeless, and any number of ways that nonprofit organizations are engaged in the public health response. We encourage Tennessee nonprofit organizations to visit tn.gov for more information on just how to apply for these grants. I also want to remind Tennessee businesses that we set aside $200 million in relief for businesses that were specifically impacted by stay-at-home orders. This $250 million is available for 33,000 Tennessee businesses. And I bring that up again because the Department of Revenue has sent communication to every one of these businesses to let them know that they qualify for these grants. But we have not heard from many of those businesses, and we want to remind them that they qualify. This money is available. We want to get it into the hands of those businesses that have been most affected by the pandemic. And so I encourage businesses to quickly go online to the TNTAP portal on Department of Revenue website to certify information about their business so we make sure that we get money into the hands of those businesses as soon as possible. In addition to nonprofit and business support, we also, just this past week, announced an additional $115 million in grants, funds that will be distributed to local governments on top of the previously announced $200 million grant program that was available to those governments.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
It's not invoice. It's not MSRP. It's not Christmas Day, although it may feel like it. It's the lowest prices in Middle Tennessee, period. It's a Stan McNabb Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram or Stan McNabb Chevrolet Buick GMC Cadillac before these prices are gone forever.
All right, the cat's out of the bag at Carroll Street Liquor in Tullahoma. Now you know where to go if you're planning a get-together and want the ideal wine or spirit. Party planning can be stressful, but at Carroll Street Liquor you'll find everything you need. Mixers, gift sets, and all of your favorite spirit brands. So if you're feeling the pressure to pull off the ideal party, come to Carroll Street Liquor and select among the seemingly endless supply of wines, spirits, gift sets, and more. Your perfect party, it's in the bag with Carroll Street Liquors.
Welcome back. South Jackson Civic Center's annual Ice Cream Social is Thursday night. Peggy Burton recently spoke with two members of the South Jackson Civic Center band here.
From Fayetteville, Tennessee, and he plays with the South Jackson Street Band and takes care of all of our technical stuff, which is wonderful. Thank you, Ron.
Enjoy it.
Alan Johnson, he's the director of the South Jackson Street Band and a fabulous trombone player, but we weren't sure we had room up here for him and his trombone. So, what do you think? Tell us about the South Jackson Band that makes you interested in being the director. What are some of the facets of it that please you?
Well, we've got a pretty eclectic group of players, and I think the main focus or the main thing that draws us all together is just the love of big band music. And we're ageless. We've got players that are, I mean, we have players sometimes that are in high school that come in and sit in with us, all up to our more experienced
Exactly.
Nice way to put it, yes.
Yeah, we do have all ages, and we encourage people that if you happen to be interested in the big band music, contact one of us, and we'll sometimes need a sub, and we'll take a look at it.
Oh, certainly. We like to have a good, strong list of subs because you never know what's going to happen.
And we have an event coming up that we need to talk about, and that's July 30th, a week from Thursday.
Yep.
And I'm supposed to tell you that you bring your own chairs or a blanket, you can bring your own drinks, you can bring food, and join us on the lawn at South Jackson. We're on the concrete stage there, the platform out in front of the building, And at 6:30 we have a dance class starring Miss Valerie Lawrence, who is a wonderful dance instructor. You can come and listen, you can come and dance, just come and have a good time, social distance yourself. Tickets $10, you can't beat the deal. Children $5, I think, so.
And don't forget about the ice cream.
Oh, there's ice cream for everybody. It's an ice cream social. I forget that. We used to do
Ice cream,
homemade
big
ice
bands,
cream.
and dance.
Yeah.
Well, what more can you ask for?
We do several events around the area, and we've been not playing anything at all since March until this last month. We started rehearsing again, and we had at least 3 events canceled due to the pandemic, and we're hoping that this one will go well.
The annual event is a real boost to South Jackson Civic Center, and after having to be closed since March, they could really use your help. We'll be right back with more News Leader after these messages.
Here at Stan McNabb Collision Center, we work with all major insurance companies, and we get the job done right the first time, on time.
Well, I grew up in Tullahoma. We'd always done business with Stan McNabb, so when we needed collision service after a run-in with a deer, we knew to call those guys. We already had trust with them. We called Cody. He took great care of us. He kept us posted every step of the way, and we couldn't have been more pleased.
Getting your vehicle back to pre-loss condition shouldn't be a headache. So in the event of an accident, contact me, Cody Hall, at Stan McNabb Collision Center.
Here at Manchester Funeral Home, we know the importance of living and working in our local community because it's those families who we serve during their time of need honorably. We believe in supporting local business and offer only 100% Batesville caskets, the best in the industry and a driver of our local economy. If you want straightforward and fair pricing while working with the people you know, choose Manchester Funeral Home, serving your community since 1932. And pre-planning and pre-funding can be the best gift you ever leave your loved ones. Call us to pre-arrange. Manchester Funeral Home. Our family, caring for your family since 1932.
Welcome back. Tullahoma native Lane Mochow has just published a book while attending Tennessee Tech in Cookeville. News Leader intern Nick Lasaric brings us this story.
My name's Nicholas Lasaric, and we're here today with Lane Mochow from Tullahoma, Tennessee, and we're here to talk about his book today. Could you tell us a little bit about yourself?
I'm a student at Tennessee Tech, majoring in journalism. I enjoy painting, pottery, and most importantly, poetry. I published a book last year called Ink.
Okay, what's your book about?
It talks about identity and love, but mainly it talks about mental health.
When did you start writing poetry?
I started writing at St. Andrews in high school. It was a poetry club, and originally it was just like a time for me to hang out with my friends, but it more became important in my life whenever I started dealing with mental health, and it became like an outlet for me to express all the things that I was going through.
Could you read one of your poems for us?
Okay. I'm gonna read Sweet Pea. My love for you was never an act of defiance. It wasn't out of spite against the church or my father. It wasn't to prove myself to Hospital Jesus or the postman. It was the unfurling of soft, sweet pea tendrils. It was the dropping of red jasper into a bird bath and watching the ripples make an O across the bowl. It was the greening of the heart chakra. It was the barking out pulses of energy from the chest and into the fingertips. It was the opening of the Tennessee irises. It was the message of hope, a life worth living another lonely afternoon.
Could you explain a little bit more about the poem?
So, Sweet Pea is actually has like personal meaning to me, even if it doesn't to the audience, because Sweet Pea talks about the literal flower and this cow that I had whenever I was a little kid. Sweet Pea, you would like go up to the fence and all you would say was like, Sweet Pea, and it would come running up to the fence, and she would stick her head over and you could like pet her, and she was so sweet. So I wanted to incorporate that kind of love into my poem.
Right. Do you have any future plans for your writing?
I am going to continue writing, obviously, and I am graduating with a degree in journalism, and I'm already writing another book called Quill.
Thank you for telling us a little bit about yourself and your book. Is there anywhere our viewers can find this book at?
Well, there's Poetic Justice Books website, which is the publisher, and you can definitely get it on Amazon.
And don't forget to tune in to this week's Living Show tonight at 6:30 p.m., Thursday morning at 9 a.m., and Thursday, Friday, and Saturday evenings at 6:30 p.m. This week's guests include representatives of a group of Christians having a Lord Heal Our Land march in Tullahoma on Saturday. We'll have highlights of previous South Jackson Goes Country events, all that and more on this week's Living. Stay with us. We'll have your weather forecast right after these messages.
Ah, the glory days. Running to daylight on the gridiron and chasing a ball with a mind of its own. Cheering the team to victory and marching to the beat of your own drum. Memories that last a lifetime. But sometimes we're reminded of our glory days in ways we'd rather forget. Get back in the game. The rehab team at Life Care Center of Tullahoma is ready to help you live and play well.
We're losing it, Doctor.
Not on my shift. Quickly, brush. Roller.
What a transformation. It's gonna be okay.
Okay, nothing.
At Paintworks of Tullahoma, we specialize in domestic emergencies with Martin Senior Paints. You can be the paint doctor too when you treat your home with Martin Senior interior and exterior finishes.
Doctor, we've got another one.
Got you covered.
Paintworks of Tullahoma. Come see the paint doctor, Stat.
I'm Philip Bourne, Stanley Knapp Detail Shop Manager. Here are a few things our customers have to say about our service.
What I love most about the Stan McNabb Detail Shop is there's someone local that I can trust to pick up my car, have it cleaned, and deliver it back to me in showroom condition.
What really amazed me is when he opened the hood and looked like he had taken the old engine out and put a new engine inside.
We have several different packages and individual services to get your vehicle looking like new again. We're located just behind Stan McNabb Chevrolet dealership. Call today, schedule an appointment, and see what a difference our detail can make.
Welcome back. We'll take a look at your weather forecast at this time, starting with your weather history on this date. Our record high was in 1952 at 106 degrees. The record low was in 1962 at 53 degrees. The average high for this day is 87 and the average low is 67. 50% chance of storms for tonight with a low of 70. Scattered storms on Wednesday with a high of 84 and a low of 71. And storms expected for Thursday with a high of 78 and a low of 69. And that's our News Leader report for this evening. We invite you to join us each Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday night at 6, 8, and 10 for News Leader on 6. Stay safe and have a great evening.